So let's do some more NSA stuff, because this broke this week, and it gets to what these guys were saying earlier, that we keep hearing so much about this stuff that now we're just forgetting it the second that it happens. So NBC News obtained NSA documents that were taken by Snowden that reveal that the British government is able to tap into the actual fiber cables so that they can see what people are doing on Facebook and on YouTube and on pretty much whatever you're doing online. The monitoring program is called Squeaky Dolphin.
The documents leaked by former NSA employee Edward Snowden and obtained by NBC News include a top-secret presentation of a pilot program given to American intelligence officials by GCHQ, the British equivalent of the NSA. The slides show how British spies are capable of tapping into fiber optic cables and pulling unencrypted high-speed data, including YouTube addresses. They analyze the information to answer critical questions. None of the data is gathered within the U.S., sources say, but Americans who use these websites overseas may have their online activity monitored. The NSA says they operate within the law and do not spy on the social media activities of ordinary Americans.
Well, if sources say that they don't spy and the NSA says they're not doing it, then I'm sure they're not. Of course, Google and Facebook say they knew nothing about this. And then the NSA actually did release a statement. The NSA is not interested in the communications of people who are not valid foreign intelligence targets. Any implication that the NSA's foreign intelligence collection is focused on the social media communications of everyday Americans is not true. We collect only those communications that we are authorized by law to collect for valid foreign intelligence and counterintelligence purposes, regardless of the technical means used by the targets. Now, of course, they're going to say that, and I'm even going to grant them a little bit of maybe that's true, but isn't there really no way they would know that that's true? Because anybody that's looking at the information could do whatever they want with it.
Saying is
sort of like Snowden, right?
Yeah, what they're saying is we don't go through the internet to get regular everyday Americans' conversations. We do that through the phone taps. we have two different arms at it that reach to different things, so we don't worry about it. We have that covered somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's where that's saying.
When they release statements like this, how do you possibly take them to be true or factual?
I basically figure in 15 years someone's going to write the tell-all that basically describes how that was a total lie.
Yeah.
I call me paranoid, but that's sort of what it's gotten to at this point. I kind of feel like so. Luckily, no one is watching this on YouTube.
Oh. Not this, I hope not. But if you are watching, please click the ad, because that'll help. So one of the things that I thought was really interesting about this is that the NSA and the GCHQ, they say it's important so that they can monitor trends in case of riots or uprisings or things like that. So here in America, where we have freedom of speech, isn't this the scariest possible thing? That they could be monitoring us for pre-riots, you know what I mean? That before we even have a chance, that they could be cutting us off.
That's what I'm thinking. And what riots will become then is protests, maybe some kind of, what was when we had damn it, I'm forgetting the name of it. The Wall Street
Occupy.
Yeah. See, it was that's
they're
exactly
sending waves
right
to your
away.
brain,
They're
man.
stopping me.
Yeah.
So I mean, even before these things get started, they collectively call everything a riot or an uprising or revolution against the government. Yeah. So anything you say becomes that level, and they can, as we know how they called a lot of people who were involved in it. Look at these uprisings. They're trying to get against the society, against our government, our way of life. But then if it's on the other side, it goes straight to what's happened to our freedom of speech.
Well, it's the who's a terrorist and who's a freedom fighter has always been in the eye of the beholder, unfortunately. And I think that it becomes very easy to sort of, oh no, we're only doing it after these people, but no, not to worry, you're over here, and that's where it just gets a little squicky for me.
So taking it from the reverse of the people that say I'm doing nothing wrong, how do we, some people that are aware that this stuff's going on and acknowledge it, how do we not go down the rabbit hole of paranoia with it? Because I don't think necessarily the entire system is built by people that are actually trying to do damage. I think a lot of them are trying to do good, but of course that can be used in awful ways. But how do we not be paranoid about it and think that your webcam's not looking at you all the time or any of that kind of stuff?
Because you know what, and I hate that, I think to a certain extent, you have to go. I mean, not because I think we should, but there's going to come to a point where we have to say, well, I'm not doing anything, because we can't do much about everything. We can do something to a certain extent, so there comes a point where you go, okay, fine, they know that I watched this video. Okay.
look,
Right,
not
big
that
damn
bad.
whoop.
If Target can't keep our credit card information secret, I don't trust YouTube and whoever else is going to keep all of our other data, secure either.
Yeah.
Again, this is where you get into that resignation of, well, this is what happens now that we're on the internet and we are vulnerable to having our cookies examined. I think at some point you either devote your life to sort of trying to, fight back against this sort of thing, or you sort of, I don't know. I feel like at the time I shrug my shoulders, like, well, this is the world we live in now. What are we going to do about it?
Well, what are we going to do about it? So I watched the movie Network. You gave me the cue a moment ago. The movie Network, I believe it was 1977. Did it win the Oscar for Best Picture?
No, it lost to Rocky, actually.
It lost to Rocky, and Star Wars, I think, was also up that year.
That was the following year.
Okay, I'm close. But I watched the movie Network. You guys must watch this movie, 1977, all about a corporation and media and bullshit and all the things that we talk about here all the time. Are we ever going to have the Howard Beale moment? Because the iconic moment from the movie is when he's doing a news piece and he gets up and he says, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore," and that's sort of where the movie jumps off from. Is there anything that could happen that would cause Americans to have that moment? Do we need a public figure? Do we need a news person or a politician, somebody to really snap in half?
The thing is, Howard Beale is insane, and what happens is that the network exploits that for ratings.
Right.
So I think one could argue that already happened. I think everything in Network has pretty much already happened at this point. That's the scary thing about it. That movie was satire in 1976, and now you look at it like, yeah, well, they saw that coming. Patty Chayefsky totally read the writing on the wall, and so now you have this corporate-driven media. You have news as entertainment. You have an agenda that comes through based on who's buying the ads, and it's terrifying. But here we are.
So who can save us? Can anyone save us? We need a Neo to break through the Matrix, right?
Yeah. The thing is, if it happens, and I go back to a little bit of the Justin Bieber and Andrea Mitchell. If she got the message in her ear, we have to do Justin Bieber, because we have breaking news. We're not going to that. If she did it, a lot of people would support her, but then it would go away. Whatever would happen to her, of course, she wouldn't get fired over something like that. But if it's someone that's lower profile, they're like, okay, get out of here. You're not following what we need to do here. You're killing us. And they would just get pushed aside and no one will think about them anymore. So if it does happen, we have this thing where collectively we say, you're being crazy. You see that guy Snap on TV? On every website you'd see, CNN anchor loses his mind, flips out, runs off camera. He must have lost his shit.
Yeah.
And we write him off as crazy.
It's funny. Every time I'm watching Wolf Blitzer, that's what I think. When this guy is such a freaking robot and an emotion, the guy couldn't improv his way out of a wet paper bag. And it's like, he's the one, I think, that if he had a human moment, maybe could get people to wake up. But I give CNN, I'm pretty much the only one watching.